Will Caitlin Clark return to play this season? That's the hope. The hope is that she's back in Cassville. Losses in 4 of their past 5 have left the 7th-place Indiana Fever, 18-16, in a rather precarious position in the WNBA playoff chase. But even with the postseason looming and a 4-day break ahead of Friday's game versus the Minnesota Lynx, the approach to star Caitlin Clark's recovery remains the same. They're focused on her long-term health. It doesn't really shift anything with Caitlin. Coach Stephanie White said before Sunday's game against the Connecticut Sun, the most important thing continues to be that she is 100% when she's ready to come back. The timing is never ideal, but her long-term health and wellness is the most important thing. Asked if she anticipates Clark returning by the end of the regular season, White replied, "That's the hope. The hope is that she's back." More. Caitlin Clark, not with fever in Connecticut today, following death of boyfriend's grandmother. Clark has been sidelined since July 15th with a right groin injury, her 4th muscle injury of the season. Additional imaging of her most recent injury showed no additional damage beyond the original scans. Sunday will mark her 13th straight game missed. The Fever have 10 regular season games left, including Sunday's game at Connecticut. Clark missed the preseason opener with left quad tightness, then had a left quad strain that kept her out for 2 weeks. Shortly after returning from that left quad injury, she suffered a left groin injury, keeping her out for another 2 weeks. White told reporters earlier this week Clark has been able to do more full-court running and various on-court movements as she continues building up her endurance, but has yet to practice. "I think the experience throughout the year, trying to come back quickly, has also taught her that she needs to make sure she's 100%. White said, "Yes, every competitor wants to play, but at the same time, doing it the right way and making sure after we've had a couple setbacks that we're prioritizing her long-term health and wellness is the most important thing." The Indiana Fever play at the Connecticut Sun at 1 p.m. Sunday. Indiana Fever point guard Caitlin Clark is set to miss her 13th straight regular season game on Sunday as she continues to recuperate a right groin injury. Clark was officially ruled out by the Fever as Indiana, 18-16, travels to Mohegan Sun Arena on Sunday to take on the Connecticut Sun, 6-26. It's now the 22nd regular season game that Clark has missed this season and the 23rd game overall, including the WNBA Commissioner's Cup Final. Fever head coach Stephanie White provided an update on Monday of last week, revealing to reporters that Clark had not yet returned to practice. No return to practice. She's been able to get a little bit more in her full-court running with all of her body weight. It's really building up from doing minimal to then building some endurance to do longer periods of time. She's been able to do a little bit more on the court in terms of how she moves, but not into practice yet, White said. ESPN broadcaster Ryan Ruocco said during last Tuesday's Fever loss against the Dallas Wings that Coach White was hopeful Clark could return to practice this coming week. Ruocco shared some potential Clark return dates. 2. Indiana will play Washington on Friday at home. Then at Connecticut, who has the worst record in the league, on Sunday. Then they have a week off before playing Minnesota twice. Home Seattle now. That stretch where they have the week off is where Stephanie White reiterated to us today she's hoping Caitlin Clark returns to practice. Stephanie talked yesterday about how Caitlin has been running more, doing more on-court work. She is hoping that Caitlin returns to practice next week. Would need multiple days of practice before she then gets into a game. But you see the way the schedule stacks up after that week and wonder could one of those games against Minnesota or maybe the 26th at home against Seattle be a potential return game, Ruocco said.